All right, accounting two. Here we are, week of May 11th through May 15th, our last practice week before we go live. So, what I want to do here is get you guys back up to speed from where we left off. Here I am in Schoology, and I haven't published this stuff yet, but I'll do that tomorrow. So, I want to go in. We want to pull up the income statement assignments. This is light work this week, guys. We're just doing a review of the income statement, which is chapter 7.1. So since it's such a light week for you guys, I've got some musical selections here. I've got 3 this week. So Mr. Kilby and I are looking at the late 80s here. So he's got a John Cougar song, classic stuff. I put a Van Halen song here and figure we'll contrast some of the music that was out there at that point in time. But also saw Little Richard died. Little Richard was one of the kings of rock and roll in its early days. This man's a founding father of modern music. So you got Chubby Checker, you've got Little Richard, you've got Chuck Berry. Elvis stole profusely from these guys. So again, we're talking back in the 50s where rock and roll was born, and he's gone. So I figured it would be fitting to do a cameo to him this week. So go in, get yourself primed, and then we'll jump right into the application problem here. So what I've done is I've just posted the application problem worksheets. You guys seem to have figured out the solution where you just take a picture and submit it to me. I figured out that when you guys are submitting multiple pictures, I download them in a zip file and boom, show them, and it's pretty easy. So we got these 2 here. I just want you to focus on the problem set here. This is what I posted out for folks who need paper copies. So it's just this item, but I'm going to go into the textbook here. So preparing an income statement. Here's the instructions. You guys know the drill here. Oh, what have I done? Okay, that's preparing a worksheet. So I want you guys to go in and pay attention to this because this is one of those things that I need to get you through before the end of the year. And this PDF version is just not cooperating with me. But that's all right. This may be what you guys are complaining about with the textbook, and I don't blame you. So here's what we're doing. Just like my lesson plans, we're defining accounting terms, which we've already done. Defining accounting practices, but what we're going to do is prepare an income statement. That's the real meat of this. So let's go in. Now, I'd actually like you to read the chapter. There are a couple of concepts. Going concern is something I want you to know. I also want you to know the concept of fiscal period, and I want you to understand adequate disclosure. Okay, adequate disclosure is what it means to be able to go into a company, look at the financial records, and understand exactly what you need to understand to figure out the financial health of the company. Okay, stakeholders. We've talked about stakeholders. Okay, I think we did the character counts exercise. Back to the income statement. Light work for you this week. Remember, this is the information on the worksheet, and this is duplicated in the application problem we'll look at in a minute. But setting up the income statement, who, what, and when. So the name of the company, what the financial report is, and when it's for. Then we've got 3 major sections. So we've got the revenue section, we've got the expenses section, and then we've got the net income section. Remember, working left to right. More detail, less detail. And then we've got our component percentages. Okay, I want you guys to get the component percentages right this time. I had a lot of you guys do rounding, and you round to exactly 1 decimal point to the right when you're doing the component percentages. The sum of the expenses plus the sum of the income should equal 100%, which is what you have for the component percentage for sales. Okay, the component percentage for sales. Sales is always used as the denominator in the calculation. So what's your component percentage for sales always going to be? 100%, always. It's always going to be 100. 100%. 100.0 is how you record this. Then you go through here and you list out sales by revenue type. Now, what happens if you got two revenue streams? Well, remember, you report them each individually by revenue channel. And then you break down your expenses. Again, indent, please. It makes it easier when I'm grading this. This is not rocket science. You guys know this stuff. So I figured it should take you, 10 minutes to do this. So here's what the completed looks like. Remember, 100.0, 41.1, 58.9. Your mathematical proof that you've done this right is add this to this should equal 100. Okay? All right, so component percentage. Now, you're going to use this because you as a manager want to know how you're doing. You want to know, all right, well, how many dollars do I have to spend to make $1? And in this case, it's telling me for every dollar you spend, you make 58.9 cents. Okay, that's not horrible. So, application problem, acceptable component percentages. So what do you do with the component percent is you go out and you compare it to your competitors. And trade organizations will have you do this. So there's a question on here that's a problem-solving question. That, all right, so if you're below your profitability margin, what can you do? So as a manager, you're thinking about ways to always increase your profitability and decrease your expenses. So income statement with two sources. This is what I was referring to. So again, rather than reporting your revenue here, you've got to sum it. So you report the detail per channel, and then you sum it here. So working more detail to the left, less detail to the right, summary data. Okay. Now remember, you report a negative in parentheses. So this one is a managerial problem. You got too many expenses. You got to figure out how to reduce your expenses. So rent, you can't do much about. Maybe advertising, you got to do something about insurance. But you look at where you're spending your money as a manager and you try to reduce those expenses. Or you come up here and you figure out a way to make more money. Always be thinking about this as a revenue solution and an expense solution. You've always got two sides to it. Okay. So here's balance sheet. We're going to start that starting on the 18th. So I want you guys to be primed and done with 7-1. All right. So I'm going to jump over here to the application problem and work together on your own. Explore accounting. There we go. Here's the one I want you to work on. So that's it, guys. That's what I want you to do as far as the PDF. Again, this is going to be easy, but I want you to do something else for me. I want to go back to Schoology here. Let's see if I can find it. Okay. All right. First thing I want you to do, I want you to review the music just for the fun of it. Then I want you to work on this, but I've got a discussion board question I want you to think about here. We're at a point where people need to go back to work, but we still have a lot of cases of COVID-19. I've got two articles linked to this. I want you to read them both. I pulled them toward the middle of last week. If you can find some that are more up to date, that have the opinion, that's great. But I tried to be fair about this with the analysis. One's a pro article. One is a con article about reopening the economy. I want you to read them, and I want you to think about what we should be doing. And I especially want you to think about what we here in good old Lower Slower need to be doing. Our economy is dependent on tourism to a large extent. We got Memorial Day weekend coming up. We got people with rental properties. We've got restaurants that are trying to get ramped up. This is how we earn our living here to a large extent. So I want you to share out and discuss what you think we should be doing at this point. Okay? I know I'm a little wordy today, but I want you to actually use this week to engage. I'm not getting as much engagement as I'd like from you guys, but I really want you to go in and take a look at this. So if you have any questions, you know how to reach me. Join the Remind group, email me. So I'm available. All right, guys, take a look at it and bang this out. Thanks. Bye.